All right, hey VC, I'm Jamie. Welcome back. We are back with another video. I'm back with a VC thread this time, started by Chris Propfe, at Chris Propfe Musically Obsessed. And Chris, thanks for this one. I think it's a great idea for a VC thread and seeing lots of videos already. So I thought I'd jump on it talking about the creative team of Hipgnosis. And Hipgnosis, featuring Aubrey Powell and Storm Thorgerson, created some incredible album covers over the years. Very creative. Through the 60s, 70s, and early 80s. This book spotlights these album covers, the complete Hipgnosis catalog. If you're a fan of Hipgnosis, I'd highly recommend this. Nice forward by Peter Gabriel. They also did some Genesis and some Peter Gabriel album covers as well. So I've got a few to show. Chris asked if we could show a few. There's been some great videos already. I'm showing a few that maybe aren't typical examples of Hipgnosis. First off, from 1970, I want to say, 1972 on Elektra. This is the band Audience, and the album is Lunch. Now, my cover is not necessarily in the best of shape. Well worn, well enjoyed. So this is Audience featuring Howard Worth there. Again, kind of a retro look to this cover, and I thought I'd read you like some of the excerpts from this. They do have some write-ups on some of the or many of the album covers that they worked on or that they created over the years. Not necessarily on all of them, but there's a write-up on this one, so I thought I'd read it to you. This is saying in the late 1930s. So again, this is Audience. The album is Lunch from 1972. In the late 1930s, the covers of fashion magazines such as Vogue featured elegant women photographed by the likes of Cecil Beaton. When Howard Worth from the band came into Hipgnosis Studios looking for something stylish and announced the title of the band's new album as Lunch, we simultaneously clicked. Ladies Who Lunch. Stephen Sondheim coined the phrase in his musical Company, 1970, to describe wealthy housewives with little to do other than socialize and take lunch. Truman Capote often referred to his long-standing uptown girlfriends in the same way. We found a picture evocative of the 1930s smart set in an old photographic library. Suitable graphics were added and a retro-style cover was born. It was rare for us to use an existing picture rather than photography of our own, but being flexible was part of the studio's appeal, and it's a good design, and we'd have to agree. And yeah, it's a little different. They usually, certainly for the photographs or photography for Hipgnosis, they go above and beyond and completely out of their way to just capture that right photo or that right look. But it's rare that they would use an existing photograph or image, but they did in that case. Okay, so that was the band Audience and the album Lunch. And this one always comes to mind. I've always enjoyed this album cover. Simplicity, but just a beautiful photograph. Again, my cover maybe not in the best of shape. But this is the band Wishbone Ash, and the album is Argus. And I just love the image on this one. And a shot of the band members inside, and a nice little write-up on this album too. So this is Wishbone Ash, and the album is Argus from 1972. Hipgnosis took an overnight train from Paris to Marseille, armed with camera cases, a Victorian traveling trunk full of costumes, and a very expensive bejeweled sword. We were obliged to ensure the latter, something we never normally bothered to do. The helmet and red cape came from Berman's theatrical costumery. The picture was taken at about 7 a.m. on a Sunday morning, on a quiet road miles from anywhere. The sunlight filtering through the trees looked better a few hundred yards away, so we walked down the hill from our main setup. Storm thought the sword looked a bit too Arthurian, so we left it behind. When we returned some 20 minutes later, our camera gear was intact, but the sword had gone. We caught the train back to Paris to face the music sans sword. Fortunately, the insurance paid up. And there you go. And that's why there's no sword in the photograph there. But I just think it's just a terrific kind of album cover. Really enjoyed that one. And a few more styles. I think Harlequin has to be the only Canadian band that Hipgnosis did album covers for. Now, they were Hipgnosis did predominantly, I should say, UK artists, not necessarily UK artists, but I think Harlequin from Canada was the only band maybe that Hipgnosis did a few album covers for. And that's not a typical sort of, again, not a typical album cover for Hipgnosis. This is Harlequin and Love Crimes. Harlequin was a nice rockin' band, but that's a little bit more of a typical Hipgnosis cover, and that is Hipgnosis and Victim of a Song. And this is from the late 70s, like early 80s. Okay, there you go. And just to wrap things up, of course, looking at the the incredible photo there of "Wish You Were Here" with the person on fire, shaking hands there. Now you'll notice here, and this is something I thought about looking at the photograph, but hadn't really looked intently at it until just recently. This was actually brought up on an episode of A Word in Your Ear. So you can see that album cover, and that's the one you see most predominantly. The write-up inside the book features that particular album cover, but here's a copy of my album. This would be a Canadian press of the album Wish You Were Here from 1975. You'll notice the difference. The person on fire is standing upright, where on here, the person on fire is leaning in. You should be able to see that, but I think that is, correct me if I'm wrong, that is predominantly the UK cover, and maybe this is the North American cover, but it's one of those, I kind of noticed a difference, but I hadn't really thought about it. But there is a difference. They actually used a variant on the album cover alone. So there you go. Isn't that something? Hipgnosis, always keeping you looking at the album covers, keeping you guessing. So that's my entry for the VC thread. Chris, great idea for a thread, and there are so many examples throughout this book and throughout their the catalog of Hipgnosis covers. So again, thanks so much, and we'll chat again soon. Take care. Bye bye.